Hey folks, Bruce here from 4LowLife. Welcome to episode 4 of Electrical Troubleshooting. Today we are going to be using a test light, a nice cheap and easy way to diagnose simple circuits. And I'm going to do it on a circuit that I've made up to match the circuit that I drew on the boards in the previous 3 episodes. So, I don't know if you can tell, but my board has moved up in the air. I've had to make a little bit of an adjustment, but come on to the back and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so if you remember from the diagram before, we had our source of power, which is our battery. These leads go down to a 12-volt battery just like you have in your truck. Comes through two things that I called controls. Technically this is a control and this is a protection, but if I remove this fuse or I blow the fuse, it's going to control the circuit. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to say we have two controls here. So power comes up through the fuse, through the switch, down to a light, same as what I had before, and then into a frame and back to ground. So what we're going to do with the test light in the beginning is check to see where we have voltage. So we're assuming that I can make it go. This circuit is not working. I push the button on the switch and the light does not light up. Something is wrong. I don't know what it is. Using a simple test light, I can check to make sure I have voltage where I should. Is it the bulb? Maybe. I don't know. I have power at my battery. The next thing I'm going to check is my fuse. I have power coming into my fuse, and the other side I have power coming out of my fuse. Now I'm going to move to the switch, the control. I have power coming into the switch. At this point I know all the wiring up to this switch is good. Easy to do, easy to see, don't need to understand any numbers. On the other side of the switch, when I push the button, the light should come on. It doesn't. Okay? So nothing I do with this switch makes the power come out on this side. Now I know we have a problem with the switch. The first thing I'm going to do is change out the switch because there is definitely something wrong with the switch. Okay, so I've swapped out my switch. I have a brand new switch in here. Now I can follow the same path again. Again, using my test light, I know I've got power up to the input of the switch. At the output side, when I push the button, it should light up. And it does. So now I know my switch is working. The problem though is my light bulb still isn't lighting up. So I push that button, my test light comes on the output of the switch, but my light bulb's not coming on. So now I have to find out what's different between my test light path circuit and my bulb circuit. Well, this light is grounded back to the battery. This light relies on the frame and all this stuff. So at this point, I can test at the bulb socket, do I have power here? Yes. I know that this entire first half of the circuit, all the way up to the bulb, is working. This leaves me with an issue on the ground side, which everybody says it's always a ground. Well, usually it is. It's not always. I've got something wrong on the ground side of my circuit. So I can't test all that with my lead hooked up to the negative side. This is all potentially, no pun intended, ground. So a test light will not light up on the ground side of the circuit. What I can do here is I can start bypassing portions of ground to find the part that's bad. Instead of my test light, I'm going to use a chunk of wire. Hang on 1 second and I'll grab a chunk of wire. Right, that was easy. Magic chunk of wire. I'm going to have to do two things at the same time here, or I'm going to cheat and hook my switch up the other way around. So this switch is a normally open switch. If I go to normally closed, this is contacted all the time now. So what I can do is I can start bypassing. If I bypass this section, the light comes on. Now I know there's something wrong in here. I can take this one step further and I can bypass this. So now I know the problem is right here. As soon as I ground through that with this wire, the circuit works. So using a test light and a chunk of wire, you can very easily work your way through a circuit, and just remember, it's a circuit. You have to complete the whole thing. Make sure your light will light up on the positive side. If you get all the way to the end of the positive side and your test light lights up and your light bulb doesn't, you've got a problem on the ground side. Use a chunk of wire on the ground side and start bypassing. Find the spot. So if I go back here, find the spot that makes it light up. Bypassing the first section here is not making it light up. Bypassing the whole thing will. Bypassing this section will. I know this is where my problem is. I hope that helped. Check it out. Try it. Next time you have an issue with a light or something fairly simple not coming on, grab your test light, check the positive side, grab a scrap of wire, test the negative side. Hope that helps. Stay tuned. Definitely more coming. Thanks.